That Man and His Manga.
Hello and welcome to That Man. That is me merchandise, and today we are looking at Cooking with Wild Game Volume 1. This is a light novel put out by J Novel Club. As always, the link in the description for them. Cooking with Wild Game is an interesting take on the isekai genre. We see a lot of series where, well, they go to another world and they've got to defeat the Demon Lord. But we don't see many series that deal with somebody who is skilled, just doing a slightly mundane task. Cooking with Wild Game has a young man. He's got everything going for him. He's potentially going to take over his grandpa's restaurant. However, things start going a little bit sour. His grandpa, his old restaurant, it's looking like it's been targeted by the mob. And after the place is set on fire, the young man runs in and tries to save his grandfather's precious cutting knife. He then wakes up in another world. This young man, Asuta, he doesn't know anything about it. However, he soon quickly finds a beautiful warrior pointing a spear at him. This young warrior is the best part of this story. I'm not gonna lie, this warrior, she is absolutely fantastic, and I really liked her in this series. The young woman, Ifa, is a huntress. She is the last of the Far clan. Her father passed away sometime before the start of this story, and she's been living alone. She lives in a village on the outskirts of a forest. It's rudimentary. There's not really much to it. They're basically a hunting village. They don't have any of these modern appliances that we've got these days and what we take for granted. And Asuta soon finds that, well, the food situation isn't particularly fantastic. Ifa takes him back to her house and she treats him to some food. The food smells absolutely lovely. However, as soon as Asuta bites into it, he discovers it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Almost revolting. You can't even get a meal out of it. No matter how much he eats, he still feels hungry. He then decides that he's like, oh well, I'll try and work out everything else by myself, and he stays the night at Ifa's house. In the morning, Ifa wakes up, finding that he has sunk his teeth into her and is trying to eat her. It's just one of those fun little gag moments that's in the series, and I was just like, it just seemed so weird. It was just so over the top. There was just like, I just didn't see it coming. What was the thing you loved about Cooking with Wild Game? Well, I liked the bit where he tried to eat her. But the reason being is that she smells absolutely gorgeous. She smells so mouth-watering, which sounds even creepier now that I'm coming to think of it. This is actually more of a pure story. There is some ecchi moments in it, but you don't see anything. It's a light novel, so... Soon after, they go and they have to bathe. Obviously, they separate themselves, and Asuta saves Ifa from a giant snake that just ended up in the bath. Because, of course, in the mountain pond or wherever it is. And he thinks to himself, why not do a little bit of hunting, and why not him try and cook the wild game? He's had all of this training over the last few years in order to prepare to be in a restaurant, and he thinks he can do a good job with cooking with that wild game. And so Asuta quickly starts to do everything. He goes over the stock that this young woman has in her hut and finds that there's a lot of interesting things that are similar to things that we would have in our world. These things that, well, they look like potatoes, but they're not quite potatoes. These things that can preserve the meat. In fact, he finds out that some of the meat being used, they only use like the hind legs, whereas these are huge massive boars. There's plenty of meat on them. Why are they just using the hind legs? And he creates a dish for Ifa as a thank you. Now, I want to stress at this point, it really seems that they are focusing on this being a Kukin romance. There is going to be some development between Ifa and this main character Asuta, which, you know what, I'm more than fine with. Ifa is an absolute fantastic character. She's a huntress, she's badass. She's not going to be a person where she's just like, oh, yeah, you know, ecchi kya kind of thing. She's going to be like, yeah, you do that, you're going to die kind of thing. And I like that. I really like that kind of character trope. And when I was first looking into the series, people always hyped up Ifa. They really hyped up that character. And we do get a lot of really nice moments with her, especially after eating the first of the meals. The reaction to her eating the first of the meals is absolutely beautiful. This is what we've got here. This must be that thing they called delicious. Her pink lips seem to be having a bit of trouble forming words. She doesn't know the word for delicious. They eat to survive. That's how it is in their little clan. They have to eat to survive. They're a hunting village. They don't have all of this beautiful, delicate cuisine. They are spoiled for choice. No, they've got to eat boar every single day of the year in order to survive and hunt more. And I'm really interested to see on how that is going to improve as the series goes on. Cooking with Wild Game was an absolute fantastic surprise. I wasn't expecting much from it, and if I had to explain it to as anything else, I would say it's a combination of Dr. Stone meets Golden Kamui. The setting is more Dr. Stone. It's this primitive hunting village. We don't have much in terms of the way of science or anything being built up. However, we're probably going to start seeing little things here and there where he's just going to go, oh, well, you can cook this. Oh, well, you can clean this. And the other way is obviously the Wild Game is Golden Kamui. That's the perfect thing to have that. It is an awesome blend of those two series, with the premise being more Dr. Stone and the food being more Golden Kamui. If you want something unique, if you want something new to read, I would 100% recommend checking it out. And I'm seeing it now. As soon as this gets an anime, Ifa will be the waifu of the year. You've heard it here first. That's it for me. If you do like light novels, please check out some of the other videos on the channel. There's plenty more there. And I will see you on that next video. Leave the like. Remember to subscribe. Goodbye.